Spokane Valley could become a sanctuary city of a different
Councilman
kind.
Caleb Collier says that this
I'm proposing that the city of Spokane Valley issue a proclamation stating that our city is a Second Amendment sanctuary city.
Welcome to the fire.
Today on Church and State, Freedom Fest with Mark Skousen. Hello, Christian Patriots, and welcome to Church and State, where we drive morality and religion over tolerance and apathy. And I'm your host, Caleb Collier, once again, your favorite far-right shock jock, and the show that talks about politics and religion. Jesus Christ is our referee, so it's always nice and clean. Real quick, I'm going to point you to the website. I think I got a little Twitter pated there, Chris. I'm excited about our guest. Fill out this registration form so you can get our newsletter and, of course, a personal phone call from yours truly. While you're there, please peruse through the amazing episodes that we're bringing out. There's incredible ones. We had a discussion with a survivor of MK Ultra, fascinating show that I want you to share with your friends, family, and neighbors. Also, check out some of the featured guests that we've had over the years, incredible people that have joined us. Click on the name. It'll bring you right to the episode. And, of course, peruse through the amazing affiliates that we have. These are companies that I support, I shop with. Every single one of those, you use the promo code Church and State. Many of them you'll get a discount, but you'll be helping to support us. And speaking of support, hit the donate button for us. Keep us alive. NRBTV, Prepper Broadcasting Network, Your News, Faith and Freedom Television. I mean, we're on so many different platforms now and expanding into national syndication on AM/FM radio. We need your help to get there. Please hit that donate button for us. Lastly, if you want to get a hold of us, Church and State 1776 at proton.me. With that, let's go ahead and bring on our guest. I am so pleased to bring in Mark Skousen. He's America's economist. He's the chair of the Free Enterprise. And he's bringing us Freedom Fest. I'm going to be a guest, I'll be a media personality at Freedom Fest. And Mark, it is a pleasure to have you on Church and State.
Caleb, nice to be with you. And looking from those original pictures you had, it looks like you could be arrested at any time.
Yeah, I've definitely run that risk. I've put myself out there a few times, serving on the city council, a number of political organizations, and I do like a good protest as well.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, we're next year's Freedom Fest. We haven't talked about this year's, but next year's our 20th anniversary, and our theme is Building the Rebellion. So that should be a fun one.
I like that so much, and I look forward to being a part of that. I'll be definitely looking to get credentialed for media again. So Freedom Fest, though, you are bringing together some of the most incredible minds really across the board. You got a lot of big tent people in here, but a lot of Christians, a lot of libertarians that are coming in here, and you're bringing them all together in Sin City. You know, the location is wild, but it's a place that everybody can get to. What really brought on this idea of bringing all these people together for you?
Yeah, so Freedom Fest is not just a political event like CPAC. It's not just an investment conference like the New Orleans Investment Conference where the gold bugs get together and so forth. It's really a World Cup of Liberty, if you want to use a common phrase for today's world, we're calling it the World's Fair of Liberty, you know, we're basically coming together once a year, 1% of the year, 3.5 days out of 365 days. Can we all come together to learn, network, celebrate, socialize, celebrate liberty or what we have or what's left of it, and to really have an assessment, an annual assessment of the human condition, whether it's in the arts, in the academic world, in the economy, in the Washington, D.C. We have a little bit of everything. It's a kind of a Renaissance gathering. And so no one is ever bored at Freedom Fest. There's lots of breakout sessions. There's the Anthem Film Festival. There's the financial conference, the geopolitical conference, the Global Economic Summit. We have all of these niche topics. And so people can choose, you know, you're free to choose to go where you want and what interests you. And we have lots of Q&A. We have lots of debates. They're all formal debates, civil debates, so we don't talk over each other like you see on CNN or Fox News or what have you, and you can hardly hear what the other person's saying. We want civil discord. And ultimately, we're after best solutions. It's not who is right, but what is right. What's the best solution to inequality, to the global warming crisis, or the tax issue, or socialism versus capitalism? This year, our mock trial, which is our most popular event, is we're putting ICE on trial. So the whole immigration debate is going to be our mock trial this year. And we have Wayne Allen Root defending the immigration, the ICE people, and we have the director of the ACLU coming in and criticizing the people. And we also have a 24-year veteran who is on the border, working on the border. So we're going to have real-world experience here with our debate, which will be on July 10th at the Caesars Forum Convention Center, Conference Center. So our Freedom Fest is coming up next week, July 8th through the 11th, and we still have tickets available, and I hope people can come. Go to freedomfest.com for all the information. So that's just kind of a summary.
That is a big summary right there. Fascinating that you're going to have a mock trial with ICE. And, for the audience, this isn't your typical Republican event. You're going to have a lot of libertarians that are part of this, a lot of libertarian speakers. And so the ICE question isn't going to be just, a lot of the MAGA Republican crowd going, yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of people in this audience and even a lot of the speakers that are going to be a little bit wary of ICE.
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely going to be the hottest issue. In fact, Bill Maher was saying this on TV the other day, that immigration is still the hottest issue, dividing Americans. And I think it's going to divide our jury. We'll have 12 members of the audience. I select them. I ask who would like to be on the jury. I ask them to be objective. Are you willing to be objective? I'm hoping they're honest enough to say yes or no. I think it's going to be, could be a hung jury for all I know, 6 for, 6 against. It's really going to be fun. So we have a defending attorney, a prosecuting attorney. Del Bigtree is our judge this year. Wayne Allen Root, he's quite a character himself. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be on our Friday at 4:45 in the afternoon. So, and speaking of alternative views, we always have debates. So we have John Mackey, the former CEO of Whole Foods, defending capitalism and criticizing socialism, and we have a Marxist professor, Andrew Hartman, who is coming in and defending socialism. So that is going to be a standing room only debate as well. But, we have all the freedom organizations coming, Students for Liberty, Reason, Cato, Heritage. We have all of the Turning Point USA is going to be there. I mean, we have everybody coming who, and we're going to have over 200 students coming. So we have over 1,500 people that are showing up in Las Vegas next week. So it's really, Freedom Fest is really going to be fun this year.
I got to tell you, Mark, what I really like about this is you're moving away from the tribalism that has been so problematic in America. This idea that you're viewing, your Democrat, if you're a Republican, your Democrat neighbor as the enemy and you hate them. You don't even know them, but you hate them. You're coming together at this massive event and you're having just a discussion, an open debate where you're respectful of each other and, let the chips fall where they may on this one. But this is exactly what we need for America.
Yeah, I agree with you. And in fact, I always give a talk at the beginning and tell people, listen, I'm part of the no label movement, focusing on best solutions rather than putting people in labels. where you can smear them. Because, you know, once you label people, then the thinking stops and the emotions begin, and you start screaming at each other and complaining and stuff like that. And there's way too much of this divisiveness in our country. So, you know, it goes through one ear and out the other in some respects at Freedom Fest. You still get left, right, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, so forth. But in the past, we have really worked at getting our attendees to be very respectful and not have the catcalls and the booing and stuff like that. We had Paul Krugman debate Steve Moore a number of years ago, and everyone was very respectful for Paul Krugman, even though they didn't agree with his point of view, but they listened to what he had to say. And so this is so important to have that perspective. So yeah, there's a lot of libertarians there. And we have an investment conference, so we get investors. It's hard to label them specifically what party they're part of or what their biases are and stuff like that, because they're interested in making money, and that covers, you know, I think, what's the phrase that money has no smell. It's kind of a way to describe the objective, independent view of the investor.
Sure, absolutely. And I mean, even within that investing, I mean, I'm imagining that you're going to have some of the gold bugs there, you know, the silver bugs. You're going to have the crypto crowd. You're going to have the traditional, like, get your money in the stock market, but all having a conversation. And honestly, it's probably a little bit of all, you know. If you're really a savvy investor, you're probably looking at all of these.
Yeah, in fact, we have Rainer Zeidelman, who is a German author, and he's written a book on space capitalism. He's a big supporter of Elon Musk, and he's talking about his book about the SpaceX and all the excitement that's going on there. And he's our substitute for Elon Musk. He's a tough one to get. By the way, we do try to get a big celebrity speaker every year, and we've had William Shatner, we've had George Foreman, we've had Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank, we've had John Cleese, the British comedian, Mike Rowe of Dirty Jobs. And this year, Kelsey Grammer, who is better known as Frasier, coming and speaking, and he's been doing a number of narrations of American Revolution and other documentaries that have been going on. So he's coming and speaking about his latest projects, and we're really excited about having him come. We also have Senator Rand Paul and his wife Kelly, who has a new book out. They are coming and speaking, and so that's exciting. Steve Forbes is a regular. He's our co-ambassador to Freedom Fest. So we're excited about our group. And by the way, we do not have a green room. And this means that you get to mingle with all these celebrities. You can come up and say hello to them and stuff like that. Some of them do have security. Steve Forbes and Kelsey Grammer and people like that, they have security, but they're there to meet and mingle, and not just be up on the stage and then go to the green room and you only see them speak. You don't actually shake hands with them and get to ask your question. We also have Nick Shirley, who's the #1 investigative reporter who exposed the fraud, the billion-dollar fraud that was going on in Minnesota and now in California. He's one of the hottest speakers on the circuit today, and he's speaking on Thursday, July 9th. We have Dean Cain, former Superman of Lois and Clark TV series, who's going to read the Declaration of Independence, part of it anyway, on July 8th, which is exactly 250 years ago that it was read publicly. So he's going to be doing that. We have Rob Schneider, who's from Home Alone 2 and other films. Hollywood's coming to Freedom Fest. We're getting quite a few people who are coming. We have the Epic Times coming, covering us. The New Yorker magazine is going to do a story on us and stuff. So we're getting noticed.
I would say so. Glenn Beck is another one of your speakers.
Glenn Beck is coming. Yeah, he's going to bring his artifacts of that era, and we have the Prager truck, patriotic truck coming. The PragerU people are coming. So we're getting well represented by all kinds of patriotic groups. And again, you don't have to be of one political persuasion to come and enjoy Freedom Fest. There's something for everybody. And I've had some of my best friends who are not necessarily agree with me politically, and they love Freedom Fest. They love to hear these alternative points of view.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let me ask you this. You come from a family that has been engaged in freedom for a long time. Is it just something that was instilled in you? Is there a patriarch that just, got it to where your whole family just really is in the cause and fight for liberty and for freedom?
Yeah, that is a very good point, because the most famous Skousen is my uncle, W. Cleon Skousen, who wrote The Naked Communist and 5,000 Year Leap that Glenn Beck made #1 on Amazon back in 2011. The Communist Manifesto, his critique of the Naked Communist was his book criticizing Marxism. And he was definitely influenced by his church leader, who said communism is the greatest threat to liberty and our freedoms, including our religious freedoms today. And so we need to fight it. And it's not an old story anymore. It keeps coming back. This is why in the background I have my totem pole of economics. I don't know if you can see it or not. I guess
You can see a little bit of it there. Why don't you explain it for the audience there?
Way. You can see it right in the back.
There it is. Yeah.
So my totem pole of economics has the 3 views of government. The top one is Adam Smith, who represents limited government, laissez-faire. Then below him is John Maynard Keynes, who represents big government. And then low man on the totem pole is Karl Marx, who represents totalitarianism. And these are universal. These 3 views of limited government, big government, and total government are going to be with us forever. And we're seeing this played out today. We thought communism was dead, at least in the West. And it's turned out that we have these pockets of socialists in California and in New York and in Washington State and Chicago, and it's freedom is still a freedom is still a dangerous word in today's society. Can we really give people maximum liberty so we're not constantly prohibiting or mandating every action that you take? We saw the mandates and the prohibitions, our freedoms being squeezed during the 2020 pandemic. Churches in particular, you talk about church and state, how churches were shut down. Only a few were willing to fight back and stay open. And they actually won their cases in court in most cases, but some were arrested. Freedom is, I tell you, during a crisis, you don't want to be on the opposite side of the government.
Yeah, unfortunately, I should say fortunately, there are people like yourself, like myself, that it doesn't matter. We're going to always stand for what is right, what is true, and we're gonna defend liberty no matter the cost. And I think Freedom Fest is going to be a great location for anybody that fits into that camp. That can come here and listen to these debates, these mock trials. I think it's going to be extremely beneficial, especially as we're celebrating 250 years as a republic, which we need to be reminded of over and over and over again, that we're a republic, not a democracy.
Yes, indeed. And we have a big portion of our conference this year celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and also Adam Smith's Declaration of Economic Independence, which is the Wealth of Nations, that came out in 1776, 4 months before the Declaration of Independence by Thomas Jefferson. C-SPAN is going to be there, and I'm having sessions on the bestsellers of 1776, Common Sense by Thomas Paine, Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbon, The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, The Declaration of Independence by Thomas Jefferson. It's really going to be a fun time period where C-SPAN is there to cover us and so forth. But, the reading of the Declaration of Independence, actually, my wife has written a wonderful script. She runs the Anthem Film Festival, and she's written a script called The Spirit of 1776, a musical performance where I'm going to be playing Ben Franklin. Steve Forbes is going to be playing George Washington, and we have others playing John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Martha Jefferson, Roger Sherman, and it's a musical. It's really going to be fun. That will be performed on Thursday afternoon, July 9th. So as you can see, there's a lot going on at Freedom Fest, and what a wonderful way to celebrate a memorable 250th anniversary of our nation's founding, rather than just sitting and watching the fireworks, which is what people normally do. So come to Las Vegas, July 8th through the 11th. Go to freedomfest.com. That's where you find out the information, and come on and join us. I mean, we still have room. There's going to be 1,500 people there, but we have room for more. And people who do go, I'll give you the best quote is from Steve Forbes. So Steve Forbes, we invited him one year, the first time, and his secretary was delighted, says he'd be glad to come. And I said, well, how many days is he going to stay? And she said, oh, Mr. Forbes is very busy. He will fly in, give a speech, sign a few books, and then he's going to go back to New York that same day. He'll be there only for a couple of hours. And I said, well, it's better to have him there for part of the time than nothing. So that's great. And a week later, Jackie, his secretary, calls back and he says, Mr. Forbes has reviewed your full agenda, your full schedule, and he's changed his plans to attend all 4 days or 3.5 days. So that captures the vision of what we're trying to do. There's so much going on. You learn so much, and you're networking and you're socializing, you're celebrating liberty. When people are finished at our Saturday night banquet with our dance and our performance, and we're giving our Freedom Award to Chris Rufer, who is the Tomato King of California, actually Tomato King of the world. And he's very free market. He has a really interesting business model. And so he's receiving our Freedom Award. You may not have heard of him, but you will be impressed after you see his award on Saturday night. And, we just have one of the events, too, that's really cool is we have our closing panel. And we have our celebrities like Kennedy from Fox News as our MC. And we have Steve Forbes and John Mackey. And we have all of these, Grover Norquist, Americans for Tax Reform. We've got all of these people from Epic Times and so on. They all come up. Anybody who has a silver dollar, because silver dollar is our symbol of Freedom Fest. And people buy a silver dollar and then they come up on stage. And they have a picture taken with everybody who has a silver dollar. We're holding up that silver dollar, which symbolizes sound money and liberty, both things. And it's wonderful to have this one picture. You can go online, you can see these people, 100 or more people who have a silver dollar in their hand holding it up. And then I throw it, oh, there you go. Wow. Now that was fast. Oh, you guys are great.
Chris, my producer, does good work, yes.
Steve Forbes right there, and I'm right next to him, and Kennedy is here, and my wife, and there are all kinds of people, as you can see. And then I have them throw it up in the air, and of course, if they drop it, it's a free-for-all. Anybody can try to grab it, but they don't. Everybody respects each other, private property. But it's still kind of fun to throw the coin in the air and have a little bit of a celebration.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. I want to return to something you were talking about with the totem pole behind you, because I really think that's fascinating. These three economic views of how government is to operate, and when I look at the compare and the contrast with the Democrats and Republicans, I'm seeing the Democrats being on the side of more Marxist ideologies nowadays. But the Republicans who should be at the top, I'm seeing more of them on the big government side of things.
Yeah, it's really tough. Once you establish big government, and we've had big government for some time, it's hard to really reduce the size of government because people get dependent. They get dependent on the welfare state and government services and government programs, Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and all of these things. It's really hard to stop those. Benjamin Franklin was approached right after the Declaration of Independence when he was in France, and he was asked, well, what's your opinion? What's your government? What kind of government do you want to set up? And he said, well, I'll tell you something. A virtuous and industrious people may be cheaply governed, And the system of America is commerce with all and war with none. Now think about those two statements. A virtuous and industrious people may be cheaply governed. So that means small government. It doesn't mean anarchy. It doesn't mean no government. There is a legitimate role for government in defense and rules of the game and justice and so forth, and encouraging competition and all these things. But cheap government, what's cheap government? Well, cheap government is when you pay your taxes and you don't complain about it because the tax rate is so low. It's like 10% or something like that. The old tithing principle. That's enough. That should be enough to run government. But instead it's 30%, 40% of our income. It depends on your tax bracket. So there's a lot of people complaining about that. And then the second statement, the system of America should be commerce with all and war with none. We're violating both of those right now. Under the Trump administration, he's constantly, he's a protectionist, and he's trying to raise taxes and reduce commerce. He wants only commerce within America and not outside the country. And is that really the appropriate measure? Do we want to do something where it's us versus them, or do we want a system which is win-win, where we all benefit from globalization and free trade and exchange voluntarily? And then war with none. I mean, this is George Washington's view that he had in his final address to the nation, to not again engage in foreign alliances. And, we can't police all the world as much as we'd like. But, President Trump is not just a practical politician. He's an ideologue. He believes he wants to have a legacy. And what is his legacy? His legacy is America first, the protectionist model of America first. And a lot of my MAGA friends really buy into that. America is a great country, and it should be a beacon to the world, but I don't think we should be afraid of trading with other people, and that actually expands good relations with other countries. So I'm a big fan of open trade with people in other countries. It is disruptive, there's no question about it, but it's worth it on a net balance because you're helping other people. I mean, you're giving hope to the Chinese people who were starving, millions being starving 30 years ago, all in the poor category, and now they have a positive view that they can achieve success in life.
And Mark, can I pause you real quick? We got to do a hard break. We're going to come right back, though, real quick. This is Caleb Collier with Church and State. Are you tired of your device spying on you? Ladies and gentlemen, we live in 1984. Your phones, your tablets, your smart televisions, they all are spying on you. And this is why I heavily endorse Mark37.com. This is everything you need for your digital privacy. Phones, tablets, laptops, all of them are ghost protocoled. So that means that you are in charge of your own data. Just go to churchandstate.media, scroll over to shop, and hit mark37.com for all of your privacy needs. Make sure to use that promo code Church and State. And we are back, and thank you for staying with us. You're over at churchandstate.media, and we're actually I'm going to flip this a little bit. We're going to go right back to our guest because he has a limited amount of time, but we're going to go right back to Mark Skousen, and we are plugging Freedom Fest, ladies and gentlemen. Look, Freedom Fest is the place that you need to be getting to. It's not too late to buy your tickets to go to Vegas. We're out here in Washington State. A lot of the audience is listening from Washington State. That's not that hard of a travel plan to get over to Vegas, but get over there. Mark, I hate cutting you off, but that hard break, it waits for no man. So please continue with what you were saying.
Yeah, the other last part of it is, we say Franklin said, and he's really imitating what George Washington said in his farewell address. He just said it much more succinctly. Washington would agree with Franklin. The system of America is commerce with all and war with none. And so I was just saying that President Trump wants to leave a legacy. And that legacy is he wants to get rid of the enemies of liberty around the world. He first started in Venezuela and had ousted the president of, but you know, and then he gets rid of the Ayatollah in Iran. I think he wants that as a legacy.
And now we're talking about going into Cuba.
And now going into Cuba. So I think the Western Hemisphere in Latin America is a lot easier to have regime change than in the Middle East. So we'll see how well that goes. But Latin America is really quite interesting now. A lot of countries are adopting the Argentine model run by President Milei, who I have met, and who has read my book, The Making of Modern Economics, that was translated into Spanish. So when I met him, he said, "I've read your book and I love it." That was really a great endorsement by President Milei. But other countries are now moving in that direction, and I would like to think that Latin America could be this new beacon of liberty, and Cuba is definitely ripe for reform and adopting free market reform, and they're actually doing that under pressure from President Trump. I've been to 81 countries, and Cuba is one that I've missed so far. We actually had a cruise. We were going there with 80 people, and then we were canceled at the last minute because of the decision by President Trump back in 2017. But hopefully it'll be opening up here soon, and I'll be able to see how Cuba has been devastated, this wonderful country. I lived in the Bahamas for 2 years, and it was basically a free market economy, and doing quite well overall. Wasn't as successful as the United States, but still a really enjoyable 2-year experience there that my wife and I and children enjoyed. So yeah, but the Middle East, that's a quagmire. The scriptures are pretty clear that those wars are going to continue no matter what. We want peace. We cry for peace. We beg for peace, but there is no peace. As Isaiah said, there is no peace. So we all know better than that, but we should try. So I certainly admire President Trump for trying, but it's an expensive war. And the jury is still out whether we can really make a change there. Maybe we can keep them from having a nuclear weapon, but it's very problematic and very expensive. So it may be a quixotic venture, I'm afraid. So I'm a little bit pessimistic about what's going on in the Middle East there. And these midterm elections are coming up, and the Democrats are on the run, have the Republicans on the run here because of the affordability, the inflation problem, which has not gone away. And on top of that, you have this expensive war causing the national debt to go through the roof and gasoline prices to be very high. This is not bode well for the Republicans. And free market reforms that they have adopted all along. So I'm a bit concerned about that. I do have an announcement. In 45 years, I wrote my newsletter, Forecasts and Strategies, that was published by Eagle Publishing. Very successful newsletter, but I made a change this year, and now I'm writing the Skousen report, published by the Oxford Club. So if people go to the oxfordclub.com, they can read about my change after 45 years. And you never know what comes to you, right? You can do something for 45 years and suddenly you got to change. Sure. It's all about change. I tell my students at Chapman University, where I teach, I say, you have to embrace change. You can't fight change because change is happening. and you are probably not going to keep the same job you had when you majored on whatever you majored in. You're probably going to end up doing something different. You're probably going to get laid off. At conferences all the time, I say, by show of hands, how many of you changed jobs or been laid off or been fired? Over half the hands go up, at least half. So it's creative disruption, as Clay Christensen from Harvard called it, creative disruption. You have the dynamics of the economy. You have to accept it. Don't think that you can protect yourself from foreign competition. You're not going to be able to do it. So get used to the change. And those who make the change, they survive and prosper.
Being adaptable, absolutely. I know you've got to get running here. What I want to do is I want to plug Freedom Fest once again. I want people to get here, and Chris is going to show the website right there, Freedom Fest, freedomfest.com. Go to the website. It's not too late to get some tickets. July 8th through 11th at Caesars Forum, Las Vegas. It was a great time to get down there and get around individuals that not only will you agree with, but perhaps some individuals that might show you a different viewpoint, a different way of looking at things. And so, sir, plug it one more time. Why should the audience get down to Freedom Fest?
Well, it's the gathering that it's the remnant, if you will. There are these people. I mean, it's so. What's great about Freedom Fest is that after 3.5 days, you have a positive view. If you came in thinking things are going to hell in a handbasket, you'll change your mind coming to Freedom Fest and you'll be uplifted. You'll meet like-minded people. You'll make friendships. We've even had people get married as a result of meeting at Freedom Fest. So it's a wonderful social gathering, and we need to get out more and socialize. And don't live a life of quiet desperation. Come to Freedom Fest, get to know people, bring a friend with you. I mean, make it a really enjoyable time. And there's something for everybody. There's philosophy, history, science and technology, investing, politics, art, the film festival. There's just so many things that you can do. So freedomfest.com is the place to be next week.
Well, I know I am really looking forward to being down here. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. So I just appreciate the fact that you're putting this event on. I can't say an event, and I've been to a lot of events, but I think I'm most excited to get down here for Freedom Fest and get around a lot of like-minded people. Well, sir, it has been a pleasure having you on the show, and thank you, and not only for putting on Freedom Fest, but all your work in preserving liberty, your family. I mean, it's really honestly an honor to talk with you.
Caleb, it's been a real pleasure, and we'll see you at Freedom Fest next week.
Absolutely, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, take care.
Thank you. You too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Freedom Fest right there. Think independent. Get down there to Vegas. It'll be a phenomenal event, I'm telling you. And remember, and I knew I did this a little bit out of order, but check out our affiliates. Go do some shopping. We got some great ones out there. Use that promo code Church and State. Remember to donate to keep us on the air, and get down to Freedom Fest. Church and State is brought to you in part by Colonial Life Spokane Independent Agents, Finders Insurance, and Mark37.com. I'm Caleb Collier. I was born for a storm.
Welcome to the fire.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want all of you to be a walking billboard. Some of us don't have platforms such as Church and State, but you know what? We can wear t-shirts and engage in great conversations with Christians and patriots all across the country. Stand Up Now Apparel is the best t-shirts out there. These are American made, owned by a Christian and a patriot, and the material, it's like getting a warm hug from yours truly. One of the better things as well is there's no tags. I hate tags. I know you do as well. I don't know how many times I've cut off a tag and ended up with a hole in my shirt. You never have to worry about that with Stand Up Now Apparel. These are the best shirts out there with the greatest messages. Let me give you a few examples. There's a t-shirt out there that says armed with Ephesians 6 on it. I gotta tell you, when I wear this in town, I get a lot of comments, a lot of eyebrow raises. There's other shirts that include pure blood in Hebrew, obviously in reference to the vaccines. And also, you can get Church and State merch there as well. We've got our flagship shirt, I Was Born for a Storm, with Church and State right on it. You got to order this shirt. Go to Stand Up Now Apparel for t-shirts and hats, all of this great merch with great Christian and patriotic messages. Remember to use that promo code Church and State.
Hey, this is Caleb Collier with the Church and State Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I want all of you to go to Galileo.com. You need to stay connected no matter what comes our way. Whether it's government intrusion or a meteor falling from the sky, Galileo has you connected. As a Marine veteran, I can tell you that communications is essential. Galileo has you connected. Whether it's worldwide coverage, uncensored content, or real-time alerts, Galileo is going to make sure that you're connected with your friends, family, and neighbors. Just head on over to churchandstate.media, scroll over to shop, and hit Galileo.com. Make sure to ask them for a free bivy stick, and make sure to use that promo code Church and State. This is Caleb Collier with churchandstate.media. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not sleeping on MyPillow, do you even patriot? I got to tell you, this is the most wonderful stuff from a man who's given it all for your freedoms. Whether it be the pillow, the sheets, or the slippers, I absolutely adore MyPillow. MyPillow has the greatest products around. I know when I want to shuffle around in my bathrobe and slippers and yell at the neighbors, of course I'm buying from MyPillow. I need you to head on over to churchandstate.media, scroll over to shop, because every single time that you purchase any of these products using the promo code Church and State, you ensure that we keep our message out on the air.
I thank everybody for your support in using promo code Church and State. You guys go to mypillow.com/Church and State too, and then you get your own little platform right there, everybody.